students. First of all, I welcome you all to my sixth video on the chapter P block elements. In the previous video, we've completed the discussion on group 15 elements, wherein we studied general properties of group 15 elements, nitrogen and its compounds, and of course phosphorus and its compounds. All these discussions that we had in the previous videos. Now we'll see the one more discussion in the chapter P block elements, that is group 16 elements, and of course they are also known as chalcosins. You know, group 15 elements are called as nicosins. Just like that, you know, group 16 elements are also called chalcosins, meaning ore forming elements. That is, the meaning of chalcosins is ore forming elements. These are the elements which participate in the formation of varieties of ores, varieties of minerals. Because of that, group 16 elements are called as chalcosins, athwa ore forming elements. And as far as group 15 elements are concerned, we have elements like oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium and polonium. These are the elements that we come across in, yes, it is group 16 elements. In order to remember this order, of group 16 elements, you know, here I got one mnemonics. Look at this. ಓದುವ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಸೇರಿಸಿ ಎಂದು ತಿಳಿಸಲು ಪೋಷಕರ ಸಭೆ ಕರೆಯಲಾಯಿತು. ಓದುವ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಸೇರಿಸಿ ಎಂದು ತಿಳಿಸಲು ಪೋಷಕರ ಸಭೆ ಕರೆಯಲಾಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ನಿಮೋನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಓದುವದಲ್ಲಿ ಓ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್. ಶಾಲೆಗೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಲ್ಫರ್. ಸೇರಿಸಿ ಅಂತ ವರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಲೆನಿಯಂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಎಸ್ ಇ. ತಿಳಿಸಲು ಅಂತ ವರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಟೆಲೋರಿಯಂ. ಪೋಷಕರ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟಿಒ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಪೊಲೋನಿಯಂ. This is how you can remember this particular mnemonics. In order to remember this order there, oxygen first, sulfur next, selenium next, tellurium and polonium. And of course, you know, oxygen will have a symbol O, sulfur is S, selenium is Se, tellurium is Te, polonium is PO. This is the symbols of these elements. And the atomic number of oxygen is 8, sulfur is 16, and of course 34 is atomic number of selenium, and of course 52 is atomic number of, yes, it is tellurium. 84 is atomic number of polonium. I know I already told you that how to write the atomic numbers of the given group by knowing the atomic number of first element. ನಿಮಗೆ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ. If you know the atomic number of first element, you can decide the atomic numbers of remaining elements just by add 8 to the 8, 16 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 18 ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ 34 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ 18 ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ 52 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 32 ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ 84 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. I already said two successive members differ by atomic number 2, 8, 18 and 32. We call them as magic numbers. ಎರಡು successive elements ಗಳ ಮಧ್ಯೆ two successive members of the given group differ by atomic number either 8 or 18, yes, or 32. This is how you can write the atomic numbers of remaining elements by knowing atomic number of first element. So this is group 16 elements. They are also called as chalcosins. And as usual, as far as occurrence of this group 15 elements, 16 elements are concerned, and you know that oxygen is the most abundant element in the earth, is it not? Oxygen is the most abundant element in the earth. This oxygen is available in nature in free state as well as in combined state. And of course, in the atmosphere, around 21% of air contains oxygen. You know that? Around 21% of air contains oxygen. Remaining oxygen will be in the form of oxides, peroxides, superoxides, like that. That is what we call most abundant element in the atmosphere is oxygen. Look at this, sulfur is available in free state as well as in combined state. Sulfur is available in free state as well as in combined state. The combined forms of sulfur would be that is CaSO4.2H2O. This is one of the compounds of sulfur available in nature. It is known as gypsum. The name of this calcium sulfate dihydrate. Calcium sulfate dihydrate is gypsum. We have sulfur in the form of, yes, it is MgSO4 7H2O. Magnesium sulfate heptahydrate. It is also known as Epsom salt. This is gypsum salt and of course Epsom salt. And of course sulfur is available in the form of barium sulfate. It is known as barite. This is also known as barite. Apart from that, this sulfur in the form of sulfide. One of the minerals of lead, that is galena. Sulfur is available in the form of zinc sulfide, that is zinc blende we call it as. This is one more mineral of, yes, it is sulfur, zinc blende. You know that one of the popular minerals of sulfur would be copper pyrites, CuFeS2, that is one of the popular minerals of first copper there, copper pyrites. So these are the different forms of, yes, it is sulfur there in combined state. And of course, if I say, yes, it is selenium and tellurium. Selenium is available in the form of selenites, and of course, tellurium is available in the form of tellurites. Selenites and tellurites are the compounds of selenium and tellurium. Polonium is usual, yes, it is a radioactive element. It can be obtained by the radioactive disintegration of radium and of course thorium and uranium. When thorium and uranium undergo radioactive disintegration, you are going to get polonium, the radioactive element it is, right? And as usual, after this particular electronic mean, that is occurrence of group 16 elements, I supposed to study what we call it as electronic configuration of group 16 elements. Occurrence in study electronic configuration. These are the atomic numbers. They are the number of electrons present in an atom. You have to distribute the electrons in an atom like this, that is helium, noble gas configuration. That accounts for 2 electrons. Then it is 2s2 and 2p4. This is electronic configuration of oxygen. 1s2, 2s2, 2p4, total 8 electrons. And of course, if I say sulfur, neon accounts for 10 electrons. And remaining will be, yes, it is 3s2 and of course 3p4. This is electronic configuration of, yes, it is sulfur there. And here it is selenium. Write the argon, that accounts for the, yes, it is 18 electrons. You must write the argon symbol in square bracket. Noble gas configuration, you write the symbol of the element in square brackets. It will be, yes, it is this argon accounts for 18 electrons. And then it is 3d10. Then it is 4s2 and of course 4p4. Look at this, 18 plus 10, 28. 28 plus 6, 34. And here it is krypton, accounts for 36 electrons. Then it is 4d10. Then it is 5s2. Then it is 5p4. This is electronic configuration, 36 plus 10, 46. 48 and 52 there. Then it is xenon there. Xenon accounts for 54 electrons. 84 is there. Then it is 4f14, 5d10. Yes. Then it is 6s2 and of course 6p4. This is electronic configuration of polonium. 54 plus 14, 68 plus 10, 78, 80 and of course 84. This is what we call it as electronic configuration. And just observe in the electronic configuration. If I move from oxygen to polonium, oxygen in the polonium, look at this, electron enters the new main shell. Electron enters the new main shell. In the case of oxygen, electron enters second main shell, your third main shell, 3s2, 3p4, 4s2, fourth main shell, fifth main shell and sixth main shell. Electron enters new main shell, and of course, general electronic configuration of the outermost shell will be ns2, np4, 2s2, 2p4, 2s2, 3s2, 3p4, 4s2, 4p4, 5s2, 5p4, 6s2, 6p4. Therefore, The general electronic configuration of outermost shell will be, yes, it is ns2 np4, and there are 6 electrons in the valence shell. Out of 6 electrons, look at this, ns has got 1 orbital, np has got 3 orbitals, 2 electrons in ns will be paired there. Howda? 4 electrons only, 1 electron, 2 and 3, fourth will be get paired. Howda? Among 6 electrons, 2 electrons are unpaired, remaining 4 electrons are paired. Howda? So this is what we call it as electronic configuration of, yes, it is the valence shell electronic configuration of group 16 elements that contains 6 electrons. Out of 6 electrons, 2 electrons are unpaired electrons. That is important for us. And one more important aspect here is, look at this. In the case of oxygen, look at the inner electrons here. As far as the electronic configuration of yes, it is oxygen is concerned, 1s2, 2s2, 2p4 alva. In the case of oxygen, inner electrons are s electrons. In the case of yes, it is sulfur, inner electrons are 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4. Inner electrons will be 2p electrons. In the case of yes, it is selenium, inner electrons will be d electrons. In the case of tellurium, inner electrons will be d electrons. In the case of polonium, inner electrons will be f electrons. Why should I talk about inner electrons and then your prashna madre? I said already, as far as inner electrons are concerned, they are going to, yes, it is cause one important effect called shielding effect athava screening effect. Howda? Inner electrons present in the, yes, it is each element will cause one important effect called as screening effect. The screening effect is effect of inner electrons which prevent outermost electrons, which prevent outermost electrons from the influence of nucleus. Because of the presence of inner electrons, the force of attraction between nucleus of the atom and outermost electron decreases. Inner electrons irodrinda enagutte, the nuclear force of attraction between nucleus of the atom and outermost electrons decreases. And that effect of inner electrons which prevent outermost electron from the attractive force of nucleus, and that is what we call it as screening effect. I already said screening effect of s electrons is greater than p electrons, screening effect of p electrons will be greater than d electrons, screening effect of d electrons will be greater than f electrons. Andre screening effect caused by s electrons will be highest, screening effect caused by f electrons will be lowest. And because of that high screening effect of s electrons, ಈ ಎಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ದಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಎಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದಿ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್, ದ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಔಟರ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ decreases. But here in the case of yes, it is look at this, in the case of yes, it is polonium, screening effect is caused by f electrons. The screening effect caused by f electrons is weak. Screening effect caused by f electrons will be weak because of their shape. Your s orbitals are highly symmetric. They effectively shield nucleus. They effectively cover nucleus anta. They effectively shield nucleus andre they effectively cover nucleus. ಆ ಎಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ನ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ದಟ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ದ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಓವರ್ ದಿ ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸಸ್. ಹೌದಾ? ಆದ್ರೆ ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಸೇ ದಟ್ the screening effect of s electrons will be very high, whereas because of the diffused shape of the s, it is f orbitals, their screening effect will be very, very less. Because of the poor shielding effect caused by f electrons, the nucleus of the polonium strongly attracts outermost electrons. ಈ poor shielding effect f orbitals ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ nucleus of the polonium strongly attracts s electrons present in the yes, it is outermost shell. Because of that strong attractive force between nucleus of the polonium and s electrons, these s electrons become chemically inert. These s electrons become chemically inert, and that chemical inertness athwa non-reactivity of s electrons due to the poor shielding effect caused by f electrons is called as inert pair effect. Because of this inert pair effect, these s electrons do not take part in bonding easily. And remember, from oxygen to polonium, inert pair effect increases. And the chemical inertness of s electrons increases. ಈ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಇಂದ ಪೊಲೋನಿಯಂ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಶೀಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಶೀಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಶೀಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಶೀಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. The shielding effect of f electrons will be very, very less. Therefore, nucleus of the polonium strongly attracts s electrons. Therefore, these two electrons present in 6s, they do not take part in bonding. They do not take part in bonding. And of course, it is very difficult for you people to remove those two electrons. ಈ electrons ಅನ್ನು remove ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ these two electrons become chemically inert, and that is called as inert pair effect. The chemical inertness of s electrons due to the poor shielding effect caused by f electrons, and that is what we call chemical, that is inert pair effect. And inert pair effect increases from oxygen to polonium, because from oxygen to polonium, shielding effect of inner orbitals decreases, and because of that, inert pair effect increases. ಇದನ್ನ ರೂಟ್ 15 ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ರಿಮೈಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. that is very important aspect for understanding remaining properties of group 16 elements. That's why once again I highlighted that. Yes, so this is what we call it as shielding effect. Now at this moment, yes it is. As usual, you are supposed to study general properties of it is group 16 elements. First it will be atomic size and ionic size. Atomic size and ionic size. As usual, I already discussed, that is, the atomic size of oxygen is less than sulfur, less than selenium, less than tellurium, less than polonium. Andre, if I move from oxygen to polonium, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, electron enters the new main shell. Therefore, atomic size increases from oxygen to polonium. This is a usual trend. What we observed in the case of all groups in the periodic table. ಎಲ್ಲ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇನೆ ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಟಾಪ್ ಇಂದ ಬಾಟಮ್ ಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ one interesting observation here is, look at the atomic size variation. This is 60 pm in the case of oxygen, and of course it is less than 104 pm in the case of sulfur. It is less than around 100, yes it is 17 in the case of selenium. It will be 137 in the case of as it is tellurium. It will be 147 in the case of polonium. No doubt atomic size increases. Doubt ಇಲ್ಲ, 60 ಇಂದ 104 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, 104 ಇಂದ as it is 117 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, 137 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, 147 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ನಾನು ಅಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಮೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಓಕೆನಾ? ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, from 60 to 104 increase is very high, is it not? Atomic size increase is very high, around 44 pm ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದಾ? ಪೈಕೋಮೀಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಟಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಕೋವಲೆಂಟ್ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಏನು ಪೈಕೋಮೀಟರ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 44 pm. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಟು ಹಿಯರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 13 pm. ಹೌದಾ? ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಟು ಹಿಯರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 20 pm. ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಟು ಹಿಯರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 10 pm. ಹೌದಾ? ಬಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಟು ಸಲ್ಫರ್ increase in atomic mass is very high because of yes it is strong shielding effect. This is because of strong shielding effect caused by s and p electrons in sulfur. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಸಲ್ಫರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ shielding effect is caused by s and p electrons which strongly shield outermost electron. ಹೌದಲ್ವಾ? Because of that strong shielding effect of s and p electrons in sulfur, the nucleus, the force of attraction between nucleus and outermost electrons decreases. Again, electron cloud expands, atomic size increases. Because of that, that is, atomic size increases to the maximum extent. Illinda illige atomic size ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So this is what we call it as atomic size. And in the same manner, for a given oxidation state, yes it is, ionic size also increases from oxygen to polonium. ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅಯೋನಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಕೂಡ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಇಂದ ಪೊಲೋನಿಯಂಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ as atomic size and ionic size. Second one is ionization enthalpy. Simply, ionization enthalpy is the amount of energy required to remove the one electron from the valence shell. Howda? Amount of energy required to remove one electron from the valence shell of neutral isolated gaseous atom, that is called as ionization enthalpy. From oxygen to it is polonium, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ on moving down the group ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ atomic size increases, and of course if atomic size increases ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ nucleus is outermost electron is far away from the nucleus. ಹೌದಾ atomic size ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ electron is going away from the nucleus, electron nucleus ಇಂದ ದೂರ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದಾ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ if electron is away from the nucleus ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ force of attraction decreases. Here the nucleus is electron is very closer to the nucleus, force of attraction is very strong. Therefore in order to remove this electron you need more energy. But here in the case of polonium, electron is far away from the nucleus, and therefore it is easy for us to remove electron from the outermost shell because the force of attraction between nucleus and outermost electron is less. It requires less energy for removal of electron. Therefore, as atomic size increases, ionization enthalpy decreases. As atomic size increases, ionization enthalpy decreases. Therefore, ionization enthalpy of oxygen is greater than sulfur. Ionization enthalpy of sulfur is greater than selenium. That is greater than tellurium, greater than polonium. This is what we call it as the variation of ionization enthalpy. ಹೌದಾ ಹೀಗೆ ionization enthalpy variation ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Yes. But and of course, if I move from it is left to right of the periodic table. We have group 13 ಇದೆ, group 14 ಇದೆ, group 15 ಇದೆ, group 16 ಇದೆ, group 17 ಇದೆ, group 18 ಇದೆ. ಹೌದಾ This is group 13. ಹೌದಾ This is if I move from left to right of the period, along the period ಹೋದ್ರೆ group 15 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಇದೆ, ಫಾಸ್ಫರಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಆರ್ಸೆನಿಕ್ ಇದೆ, ಆಂಟಿಮನಿ ಇದೆ, it is ಬಿಸ್ಮತ್ ಇದೆ. ಹೌದಾ ಹಾಗೇನೆ 16 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಇದೆ, ಸಲ್ಫರ್ ಇದೆ, ಸೆಲೆನಿಯಂ ಇದೆ, and of course tellurium ಇದೆ, and of course polonium ಇದೆ. ಹೌದಾ If I move from left to right of the periodic table, ionization enthalpy increases. ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ionization enthalpy of 16 to be greater than 15, ionization enthalpy of 17 to be greater than 16, ionization enthalpy of 18 group elements to be greater than 17. ಹೌದಾ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ರೈಟ್ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ionization enthalpy ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 17 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಲೋರಿನ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೇನಿದೆ it is ನಿಯಾನ್ ಇದೆ. ಹೌದಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ionization enthalpy of oxygen to be greater than nitrogen, ionization enthalpy of fluorine to be greater than oxygen, neon to be greater than fluorine. But it has been observed that that is ionization enthalpy of 16 group elements. Ionization enthalpy of 16 group elements will be less than the ionization enthalpy of corresponding 15th group elements. Ionization enthalpy of group 16 elements will be less than the corresponding elements of it is group 15 elements. ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ actually trend ಏನಾಗಿರಬೇಕಿತ್ತು 16 group elements should have more ionization enthalpy than 15 group elements, but it is observed that ionization enthalpy of 16 group elements will be less than the corresponding elements of group 15 elements. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ionization enthalpy of oxygen is less than nitrogen, sulfur is less than phosphorus, selenium is less than arsenic, tellurium is less than antimony, polonium is less than bismuth. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ group 15 elements are characterized by ns2 np3 configuration, whereas group 16 elements are characterized by ns2 np4 configuration. Group 15 elements ಅಲ್ಲಿ electronic configuration is ns2 np3. If it is so, ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ns2 is completely filled, np3 is ಹೇಳಿ this is np3, and of course this is ns2. ns2 is completely filled, np3 is completely half filled. ಹೌದಾ In the case of group 15 elements, the valence shell electronic configuration is ns2 np3. Because of that, these elements are characterized by completely filled ns2 orbital and completely half filled np orbital. That gives extra stability. Because of that, ionization enthalpy of group 15 elements will be greater than the corresponding elements of group 16 elements. Athava ionization enthalpy of group 16 elements will be less than the corresponding elements of group 15 elements. So this is how that ionization enthalpy varies. So this is ionization enthalpy as far as group 16 elements are concerned. Agboda? Yes. Let us see one more physical property as far as group 16 elements is concerned. That will be electron gain enthalpy, right? You know, electron gain enthalpy is the amount of energy liberated when one electron is added to the neutral gaseous isolated atom, that is called as electron gain enthalpy. This is a neutral gaseous isolated atom. When one electron is added to this atom, you are going to get X minus with the liberation of energy. That is what we call it as electron gain enthalpy. That is, as there is a liberation of energy during addition of electron to the neutral gaseous isolated atom, electron gain enthalpy is represented by using negative sign. Electron gain enthalpy is represented by using negative sign. And of course, as the negative value of electron gain enthalpy increases, or ability of an atom to attract the electron increases. That is, electron gain enthalpy is a direct measure of ability of isolated atom to hold extra electrons. Electron gain enthalpy is the measure of, is a direct measure of ability of a neutral atom, ability of neutral gaseous isolated atom to hold extra electron. That is what we call electron gain enthalpy. As the amount of energy liberated increases, electron gain enthalpy increases, ability to hold extra electron also increases. And as far as the variation of electron gain enthalpy is concerned, as the size of the atom increases, electron gain enthalpy decreases. Therefore, the expected trend in the variation of electron gain enthalpy of group 16 elements is electron gain enthalpy of oxygen to be greater than sulfur, sulfur to be greater than selenium, selenium to be greater than tellurium, tellurium to be greater than polonium. That is, due to the small size of oxygen, we expect oxygen to have highest electron gain enthalpy, whereas polonium, being a big atom, being a biggest atom in the group, electron gain enthalpy of polonium to be least. This is what we call it as expected trend. From oxygen to polonium, atomic size increases, therefore electron gain enthalpy decreases. But actual trend is this. Actual trend in the variation of electron gain enthalpy is sulfur to be greater than selenium, selenium to be greater than tellurium, tellurium to be greater than polonium, polonium to be greater than oxygen. That means we expected that oxygen to have high electron gain enthalpy, but electron gain enthalpy of oxygen is least here. For example, electron gain enthalpy of sulfur is around 200 kilojoules per mole. Electron gain enthalpy of sulfur is around 200 kilojoules per mole. Selenium minus 195 kilojoules per mole. Tellurium minus 190 kilojoules per mole. Polonium minus 174 kilojoules per mole. And of course it is oxygen minus 149 kilojoules per mole. This is electron gain enthalpy of oxygen. Least negative means electron gain enthalpy of oxygen is least among the elements in the group 16. This is the actual trend. Hagadre, why that electron gain enthalpy of oxygen is very, very less compared to the other family members? Anta prashne bartade. Hauda? Why that electron gain enthalpy of oxygen is least? In order to get the answer for that, click here. No doubt, as atomic size decreases, electron gain enthalpy increases. But in the case of oxygen, oxygen is small atom, but it is too small to hold extra electron when electron is added to it. That is, no doubt, oxygen atom is very, very small atom. When electron is added to it, it is going to get O minus. But oxygen atom is very, very small. It is such a small atom, when electron approaches oxygen atom, the electrons already present in oxygen will offer repulsion for the incoming electron. That oxygen atom is such a small atom, that incoming electron experiences repulsion from the electrons already present in oxygen. Because oxygen is very, very small atom, oxygen atom is such a small atom, that incoming electron doesn't find any space in the oxygen atom. Because of that, this incoming electron experiences repulsion from the electrons already present in oxygen. Therefore, the electron gain enthalpy of oxygen decreases. Because of that, electron gain enthalpy of oxygen decreases. So this is what we call it as electron gain enthalpy. And of course, that is exceptional behavior as far as group 16 elements are concerned. ಹೌದಾ? ಒಂದು ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಗಿಂತ enthalpy ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಬಿಡಿ. ಆದರೆ oxygen atom is very small atom. It is such a small atom, that incoming electron experiences repulsion from the electrons already present in oxygen atom. Oxygen atom ಎಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಆಟಮ್ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಇರೋಕ್ ಜಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ನಿನ್ನೆಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಕರ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇನ್ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹೊರಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತವೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಗೇನ್ enthalpy of oxygen is very, very small. Yes, so that is what we call it as electron gain enthalpy. Yes, that is melting and boiling points. Melting and boiling points of group 16 elements, right? As far as regular trend is concerned, melting and boiling points of acids, oxygen should be acids less than acids sulfur, less than acids selenium. It will be less than tellurium, and of course less than polonium, because from oxygen to polonium ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, atomic size ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Yes, and because of that increase in atomic size ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, van der Waals force of attraction ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. When van der Waals force of attraction increases, melting and boiling points will increase. That is the general trend. But, and of course in the case of polonium, melting and boiling points of polonium will be slightly less than tellurium. Now we expect that melting and boiling points of polonium to be highest, but the melting and boiling points of polonium to be less than tellurium. Due to the inert pair effect. In the case of polonium, we have 6s2 6p4 electrons in the valence shell. These two electrons do not take part in bonding due to inert pair effect. Only 4 electrons will take part in bonding. Because of that, force of attraction decreases, and therefore the melting and boiling points of polonium to be less than tellurium. So that is what we call it as general trend there. And of course, because of that, size variation, and of course electronegativity variation, oxygen is a gas, remaining are solids. Oxygen is a gas, remaining are the solids. At the same time, oxygen can form a diatomic molecule, whereas sulfur, selenium and tellurium, they can form acids polyatomic molecules, that is acids octatomic molecules. So oxygen can form only diatomic molecules. So this is what we call it as melting and boiling points. Apart from that, if it comes to the physical state, that is metallic and non-metallic property bandre, that in the P block, every group begins with non-metals, ends with metals, passes through metalloids. Here oxygen and sulfurs are non-metals, polonium is a metal, selenium and tellurium are metalloids, and that variation is highly dominant in the case of P block elements. One of the blocks where variation of metallic to non-metallic property through metalloids is highly dominant, perfectly varied. That variation is found in the case of acids group. P block elements only. P block elements ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಪ್ರತಿ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಕೂಡ ನಾನ್ ಮೆಟಲ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮೆಟಲ್ ಇಂದ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಪಾಸಿಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಮೆಟಲಾಯ್ಡ್ಸ್. Here selenium and tellurium are metalloids. Metalloids are elements which exhibit the properties of metals as well as non-metals, right? And at the same time, I want to highlight one more aspect here. If I move from sulfur to oxygen to sulfur, oxygen is a gas and sulfur is a, yes, it is solid. Oxygen is a gas and gas and sulfur is a solid. O2 is a gas, yes, it is a solid. Remaining are solids. No doubt, melting and boiling points will increase from oxygen to polonium. There is a large difference in melting and boiling points of oxygen and sulfur. It's a gas and it's a solid. Just observe, there is a huge difference in melting and boiling points because oxygen is a diatomic, sulfur is a octatomic. Because of the atomicity of sulfur is 8, atomicity of oxygen is 2. Because of that high atomicity, there are 8 atoms involved in the formation of molecule of sulfur. That is what we call it as octatomic sulfur there, and it will form a cyclic ring of 8 sulfur atoms. Because of that, it will have a large surface area, and at the same time, intermolecular force of attractions will be very, very strong, and therefore it is characterized by high melting and boiling points. The large difference in melting and boiling points between oxygen and sulfur is due to the large difference in atomicity. Oxygen is a diatomic, sulfur is a octatomic. Yes, so this is one more point to be highlighted. Yes, it is electronegativity there. One more physical property to be discussed, that is electronegativity, right? And electronegativity is a property of bonded atoms. I already said. Electron gain enthalpy, electronegativity, ಎರಡು ಒಂದೇನೆ. ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ both are used to express electronegativity and electron gain enthalpy. Both are used to express tendency of attracting electrons. ಹೌದಾ? This electronegativity is a property of bonded atoms. Ability of bonded atom to attract shared pair of electrons. It's a property of bonded atoms. Electron gain enthalpy is a property of isolated atom. And the isolated atom is the atom which is not involved in bonding. Look at this. As far as electronegativity is concerned, electronegativity of oxygen is greater than sulfur, greater than selenium, greater than tellurium, and of course greater than, yes, it is polonium. This is the variation of electronegativity there. Electronegativity decreases from oxygen to sulfur, phosphorus. Electronegativity decreases from oxygen to polonium. ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ, electron gain enthalpy of sulfur is greater than oxygen. Electron gain enthalpy of sulfur is greater than oxygen. ಆದರೆ electronegativity of oxygen is greater than sulfur. Electronegativity of oxygen is greater than sulfur. ಇದು ನೋಡಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದಾ? ಎರಡು ಕೂಡ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್. ಆದ್ರೆ this electronegativity is a property of bonded atoms. Then the electronegativity of oxygen is very high. And of course that decreases from oxygen to polonium. This is what we call it as electronegativity, right? Apart from that, yes. Now I supposed to go for chemical properties. Under the chemical properties, right? We are supposed to study oxidation numbers or oxidation states. That is oxidation states of, yes, it is group 16 elements. Next discussion is oxidation states of group 16 elements. As far as yes, it is the valential electronic configuration is concerned, ns2, np4, and of course nd is of course vacant there. Nd is vacant there because of that. Yes, look at this. Here we have 2 electrons. np4 alli nodi 4 electrons alli, yes, it is 2 electrons are paired and 2 electrons are unpaired. Nd is of course vacant. Yes, Nd is vacant, and of course this is what we call Nd there. Yes, D alli 5 orbitals irtade, P alli 3 orbitals irtade, S alli 2 electrons, 1 orbital irtade, 2 electrons irtade. Hauda? This is electronic configuration in ground state. Yes, electronic configuration of the group 16 elements in their valence shell of course ground state alli. This is valence shell electronic configuration of group 16 elements, of course, in ground state. Look at that. In this case, you can find 2 unpaired electrons. And of course, ns2, np4, 6 electrons in the valence shell. Because of that, these group 16 elements, they can these group 16 elements, they can accept 2 electrons from other species to become E minus 2. Due to the presence of 6 electrons in the valence shell, these group 16 elements can accept 2 electrons. Actually, after accepting 2 electrons, E ns2 np4 is that group 16 is characterized by ns2 np4 configuration. After accepting 2 electrons, it becomes what? ns2 np6 octet configuration barutte, noble gas configuration barutte. Therefore, one of the possible oxidation states for group 16 elements will be -2, and this configuration corresponds to the oxidation state of -2 because due to the presence of 6 electrons, these group 16 elements can accept 2 more electrons to attain octet configuration. In the 2 electrons ಅನ್ನ ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಇಂದ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ 8 electrons ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು oxidation state -2 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. One possible oxidation state. Another possible oxidation state, these 2 unpaired electrons can be shared with other species, thereby it can attain oxidation state of +2. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪಾಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೇ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಗರೇಷನ್ ಇಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪಾಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಈ ಅನ್ಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಆಗ ಇದರ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೇಷನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಏನಾಗಬಹುದು +2 ಆಗಬಹುದು. ಹೌದಾ? ಅಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ -2 and +2 are 2 possible oxidation state corresponding to the ground state valential electronic configuration. Corresponding to the ground state valential electronic configuration. ಈ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಗರೇಷನ್ ಗೆ -2 ಒಂದು ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆ, +2 ಒಂದು ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆ as far as group 16 elements are concerned. But from oxygen to yes it is polonium ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? If I move from oxygen to polonium ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Electronegativity decreases, tendency of attracting electrons decreases. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ stability of ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Stability of -2 state ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Decreases. Stability of -2 state decreases from oxygen to polonium. If I move from oxygen to polonium ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Electronegativity ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ತಾನೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ tendency of attracting 2 electrons decreases, and therefore stability of -2 state decreases. Therefore -2 state is highly stable in oxygen. That just like in the case of nitrogen, -3 state is highly stable in the case of nitrogen. ಹಾಗೆ in the case of oxygen, -2 state is highly stable there, and stability of -2 state decreases from oxygen to polonium. Yes, so this is what we call it as one possible oxidation state. Another possible is yes it is +2 there. Yes, and of course as far as the electronic configuration is concerned, in the first excited state, when energy is provided to the yes it is group 16 elements, ಏನಾಗಬಹುದು? One of the electrons from P can be shifted to yes it is D there. That is excited state. Excited state ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ D subshell ಗೆ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ in the first excited state, look at the electronic configuration here. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಒಂದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ P ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಉಳಿತದೆ? 3 electrons ಉಳಿತದೆ. D ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Look at that, due to the excitation of electron from NP to ND ಏನಾಯ್ತು? ಈಗ 4 unpaired electrons are available now. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ground state ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2 unpaired electrons ಇತ್ತು. In the first excited state, 1 electron is shifted from NP to ND when energy is provided to it. ಆಗ 4 unpaired electrons are available, and because of that, another possible oxidation state is yes it is +4. One more possible oxidation state is +4 as far as group 16 elements are concerned. And of course, if you provide some more amount of energy in the second excited state, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? This electron can also be shifted to yes it is D subshell. ಆಗ look at that, yes it is unpairing of electrons takes place. Unpairing of all the electrons takes place. Then look at this, one more electron will enter into the D subshell. The electron D subshell ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು? unpaired electrons 6 ಆಯ್ತು, because in the second excited state one more electron is shifted from S to the D there. Another possible oxidation state is +6. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ the possible oxidation state for group 16 elements will be -2, +2, +4, and of course +6. I already said stability of -2 decreases from oxygen to polonium. What about this +2, +4, and +6 ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, look at this, and as far as the D subshell is concerned, D subshell is available only in the case of sulfur, selenium, tellurium and polonium. D subshell not available in the case of oxygen, where we have the configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. Illi oxygen alli we have second main shell. Electrons are present in second main shell, where we don't have 2d there. Second main shell alli d orbitals irode illa. Hagagi, that is, if d orbitals are not there, d orbitals illa andaga, I can't expect this particular shifting there. ಹೌದಾ? ಈ ತರ ಶಿಫ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾನು ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಬಿಟ್ +4 and +6 states. Oxygen doesn't exhibit +4 and +6 states because of non-availability of d orbitals in oxygen. Oxygen ಅಲ್ಲಿ d orbitals ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗೋದು +4 +6 ಯಾವಾಗ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? If electron is shifted from if electron is jumped from np to nd. Oxygen ಅಲ್ಲಿ d orbitals ಇಲ್ವೇ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ? d orbitals are present in sulfur, selenium, tellurium and polonium. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 3d ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ 4d ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ 5d ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ 6d ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ d subshells ಇದೆ, vacant orbitals ಇದೆ, vacant d subshells ಇದೆ ವೇಲೆನ್ಸಿ ಶೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ +4 and +6 are possible in the case of sulfur, selenium, tellurium and polonium, whereas in the case of oxygen +4 and +6 are not possible. And of course, as far as oxygen is concerned, look at this. As far as oxygen is concerned, right? That is, oxygen will have oxidation state of -2, -1, 0, +1 and +2. These are the possible oxidation states for oxygen. These are the possible oxidation states for oxygen. Oxide, -2 is there in, yes it is, oxides only there. Oxides only, oxygen will have an oxidation state of -2. In the case of peroxides, nodi, this is peroxide. O2 -2 is peroxide. Over 2 oxygen atoms there is a -2 charge. What about over 1 oxygen? -1. ಹೌದಾ? 2 atoms ಗೆ -2 ಆದ್ರೆ 1 atom ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು? -1 ತಾನೆ. Therefore, oxidation state of oxygen is -1 in peroxides. The formula of peroxides is O2 -2. And oxidation number of oxygen is 0. And of course, in the case of, yes it is, oxidation number of oxygen is 0 in the case of O2 and O3. Ozone ಮತ್ತೆ O2 molecules ಅಲ್ಲಿ oxidation number of oxygen is 0 there. Yes, whereas in the case of yes it is oxygen difluoride OF2 ದಲ್ಲಿ, and of course that is O2F2, sorry. In the case of dioxygen fluoride ಅಲ್ಲಿ, in the case of dioxygen fluoride ಅಲ್ಲಿ oxidation number of oxygen is +1. ನೋಡಿ, 2x fluoride -1 into 2, that's equal to 0. 2x is equal to +2, therefore x is equal to +1. That is oxidation number of oxygen in oxygen difluoride is +1, whereas in the case of OF2, oxygen difluoride only, oxidation number of oxygen is +2. Cross ಮಾಡಿ. That is, yes it is, oxidation number of oxygen is +2 there. So this is what we call it as +2 oxidation state. This is oxygen fluoride. ಒಂದು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಗಮನಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು. ಕೆಲವು ಸರಿ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ನೇಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನೇಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಫ್ಲೋರೈಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಫ್ಲೋರಿನ್ ಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಅಂತಾನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. 2 ನೇಮ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಫ್ಲೋರೈಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ಫ್ಲೋರಿನ್ ಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಏನ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕು? ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಫ್ಲೋರೈಡ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ಲೋರಿನ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ F-. ಫ್ಲೋರಿನ್ ನೆವರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಬಿಟ್ಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಫ್ಲೋರಿನ್ಗೆ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಯಾವ್ದಂದ್ರೆ -1, ಅದು F-. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ F- ಇಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋರೈಡ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಫ್ಲೋರೈಡ್, ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಡೈಫ್ಲೋರೈಡ್. ಎಸ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಇದು ಯಾವ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ O2+2 ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ O2+2 ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1 ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು? +1. 2 ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಮೇಲೆ +2 ಆದ್ರೆ 1 ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಮೇಲೆ +1. Therefore oxidation number is, yes it is +1 there. Apart from that, we have a compound like superoxide ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. That is O2- ಅಂತ. Superoxide ಏನು? O2-. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ oxidation number of oxygen is -half here. 2 ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಆಟಮ್ ಮೇಲೆ 1 ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇದೆ -1. 1 ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ? O-2 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದಾ? O2- ಆದ್ರೆ O- ಅಂದ್ರೆ oxidation number of oxygen in superoxides is -2. In peroxides is -1. In oxides is -2. Oxygen difluorally +1. Oxygen fluorally, yes, it is +2. So these are the possible oxidation states of oxygen there. And of course, now at this moment, interesting observation is as far as +4 and +6 oxidation states are concerned. Group 16 ಅಲ್ಲಿ +4 ಮತ್ತೆ +16 ಇದೆ ತಾನೆ? Yes. Out of these two, if I move from yes, it is oxygen, sulfur, tellurium and polonium. That is stability of +6 state decreases. Stability of +6 state decreases and the stability of +4 state increases. If I move from oxygen to polonium, oxygen in the polonium ಬಂದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, stability of +6 state decreases and the stability of +4 state increases. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, that is in the case of polonium ಏನಿದೆ, this is xenon 4f14 6s2 6p4. ಹೌದಾ? This is the electronic configuration of polonium. ಈಗ +6th state ಬರಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ and polonium has to lose all the 6 electrons. ಹೌದಾ? +6th state ಬರಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ polonium has to lose all the 6 electrons, but due to the poor shielding effect, 4f14 5d10. ಹೌದಾ? Due to the poor shielding effect caused by f electrons, polonium ಅಲ್ಲಿ shielding effect caused by f electrons will be very very weak. Because of that poor shielding effect caused by f electrons, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, these s electrons become chemically inert, ಅಂದ್ರೆ they cannot be easily removed. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ polonium can lose only 4 electrons. Therefore ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, polonium can exhibit +4 but not +6. Therefore on moving down the group, stability of +6 state decreases, +4 state increases due to ಇಷ್ಟೇ ನೀವು ಬರಿಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು inert pair effect. Due to inert pair effect. ಹೌದಾ? And inert pair effect is highly dominant in the case of polonium. ನೀವು ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಇಂದ polonium ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, inert pair effect ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ stability of +4 increases, stability of +6 decreases. ಇದನ್ನ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಮುಂದಿನ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಬಳಸ್ಕೊತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು inert pair effect ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, stability of +6 decreases and that of +4 increases. So that is what we call it as, yes, it is oxidation states. Okay na? Yes, agudalla. Under the chemical properties of group 16 elements, you are supposed to study reactivity of group 16 elements with hydrogen, as you studied in the case of group 15 elements, reactivity with hydrogen. Just like that, when group 16 element reacts with hydrogen, right? When group 16 element reacts with hydrogen, E andre group 16 element, when it reacts with hydrogen, you are going to get the dihydride of group 16 element, H2E, where E is what we call it as, E can be oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium or polonium. Yes, this is what we call group 16 elements. When they react with hydrogen, you are going to get dihydrides of group 16 elements. As far as dihydrides are concerned, we have H2 over here, we have H2S here, we have H2Se, we have H2T, and of course H2PO. These are the dihydrides of, yes, it is group 16 elements. This is water, or you can call it as hydrogen oxide. This is hydrogen sulfide. This is hydrogen selenide. This is hydrogen telluride. This is hydrogen polonide. These are the dihydrides of, yes, it is group 16 elements. And first you are supposed to study the structure of, yes, it is dihydride of, yes, it is group 16 elements. And if you look at this, E is a group 16 element. You know that group 16 elements are characterized by 6 valence electrons. ಯಾವುದೇ group 16 element ಇರಲಿ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 6 valence electrons ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Hydrogen will contribute 2 electrons totally. Yes, it is, we have 8 electrons. 8 electrons means we have 4 pairs of electrons, right? 8 electrons is 4 pairs. Out of 4 pairs, we have H2, that is 2 hydrogen atoms are attached to the, yes, it is group 16 element, that is through 2 covalent bonds. Therefore out of 4 pairs, 2 pairs are involved in bond pairs. Remaining 2 pairs will be lone pairs. Remaining 2 pairs will be lone pairs. And of course, this E, in the case of dihydride of group 16 elements, E is sp3 hybridized. But we expect this to have tetrahedral geometry. We expect this to have tetrahedral geometry, but due to the lone pair repulsion, lone pair bond pair repulsions, that H2E is characterized by bent shape. H2E is characterized by bent shape with a bond angle less than 109 degree 28 minutes. So this is what we call it as shape of the or the structure of the acetic dihydride of acetic group 16 elements. Apart from that, as per your NCERT textbook, you are supposed to compare some properties of dihydrides of group 16 elements as you did in the case of acetic group 15 elements. First it will be bond angle. As far as bond angle is concerned, bond angle, that is in the case of H2O, is greater than that in the case of H2S, is greater than that in the case of H2SE, is greater than that in the case of H2TE, and that is greater than that in the case of H2PO. Bond angle decreases from water to acetic hydrogen polonide. From H2O to H2PO, bond angle decreases because that is electronegativity decreases. Because electronegativity of central atom. Central atom is either oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium. Electronegativity decreases. Electronegativity decreases from oxygen to polonium. From H2O to PO, electronegativity of central atom from oxygen to polonium decreases. Because of that, bond angle decreases. Okay, look at this. In the case of water, we have this. In the case of polonium, we have this. This is the shape of the H2PO. This is the shape of the H2O, right? And we have lone pairs like this. Lone pairs. As I said, oxygen is highly electronegative. Therefore, it attracts bonded pair of electrons towards it. Electron density around the oxygen increases. But electronegativity of phosphorus for polonium is least. Electron density around polonium is less. But here, electron density around oxygen is very high due to its high electronegativity. Repulsion starts because of high electronegativity, electron density around oxygen, bonds get repelled. Then what happens? Bond angle increases. Therefore, bond angle in the case of H2O is highest. Bond angle in the case of H2PO is least. From oxygen to polonium, electronegativity decreases. Therefore, bond angle decreases. Right? That is one property. Apart from that, next, yes, it is the property to be discussed is bond enthalpy. Next property to be discussed is bond enthalpy. Bond enthalpy refers to amount of energy required to break a particular bond. Amount of energy required to break 1 mole of particular bond, that is called as bond enthalpy. Bond enthalpy of H2O is greater than bond enthalpy of H2S, that is greater than bond enthalpy of H2SE, that is greater than bond enthalpy of H2TE, greater than bond enthalpy of H2P. Reason is, look at this. In the case of H2O, yes, hydrogen is attached to very small atom, oxygen. Whereas in the case of H2SE, yes, hydrogen is attached to little bit bigger atom. In the case of H2SE, the size of selenium just increases, size of atom increases. And of course, as I move down, yes, it is size of atom ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, right? ಹೌದಲ್ವಾ? On moving from oxygen to polonium, size of the atom increases. Hydrogen is attached to the, yes, it is oxygen in the case of water. Oxygen is very small atom. Hydrogen is also a very small atom. Therefore, they are very, very close to each other. There is a maximum force of attraction between hydrogen and oxygen there due to small size. But here in the case of H2PO there, hydrogen is attached to very very big atom. ಹೌದಾ? Hydrogen is attached to very very big atom. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? There is a large distance between nucleus of hydrogen and nucleus of polonium, and therefore bond length is very very large. If the bond length increases, energy required to break the bond decreases. ಹೌದಲ್ವಾ? Therefore, from oxygen to polonium, atomic size of central atom increases, then bond length increases, therefore energy required to break the bond decreases. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಬೇಕು, ಈ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಬೇಕು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಬಿಗ್ ಸೈಜ್. As the size of the central atom increases, bond length increases, energy required to break the bond decreases. Therefore, H2O has got a high bond enthalpy. And for the same reason, yes, because of that, thermal stability follows the same order. Thermal stability of hydrides follow the same order. For the same reason, H2O is more stable than H2S. H2S is more stable than H2Se. That is more stable than H2Te. That is more stable than H2PO. Okay? From H2O to H2PO, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Bond enthalpy decreases. That is, energy required to break the bond decreases. Therefore, thermal stability decreases. Therefore, H2O being yes, it is highly stable molecule because of its it is small size of oxygen atom, or you can say bond enthalpy of OH bond in water is very very large. Therefore, it is highly stable. In the case of H2PO, bond enthalpy of H2PO is least. Therefore, it is least stable. This H2PO bond can be easily broken due to small bond enthalpy. Yes. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ, if it is so, what about that acidic property there? So acidic strength you can call it as, which has got high tendency of releasing H plus ions. Acidic strength will be expressed in terms of ability to release H plus ion. ಹೌದಾ? If OH bond is very very strong, ಅಂದ್ರೆ energy required to break the OH bond is very very high ಅಂದಾಗ, water doesn't release H plus ions easily. ಹೌದಾ? ವಾಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ OH bond ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಇದೆ. Energy required to break the OH bond is very very large, as we discussed. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ OH bond ಅನ್ನು ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ bond enthalpy of H2O is very high. Therefore, H2O does not release H plus ions easily. Because of that, ability to release H plus ions in the case of water is least, and that increases from water to H2PO. That is, acidic strength of water is less than H2S, less than H2Se, less than H2Te, less than H2PO. That means H2PO with the least bond enthalpy. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಅನ್ನು ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಈಸಿ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ it easily releases H plus ions. Therefore, H2PO is highly acidic. So acidic strength increases from water to H2PO. For the same reason, we have reducing ability or reducing power. Yes, reducing power is measured in terms of ability to release hydrogen. Acidic strength is measured in terms of ability to release H plus. Reducing power is, yes, it is reducing power is measured in terms of ability to release hydrogen. Because of that high bond enthalpy, high bond strength, that reducing power of H2O is less than H2S, that is less than H2Se, that is less than H2Te, less than H2PO. And of course, in the case of H2PO, that H2PO bond is very very weak. ಹೌದಾ? ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು that is very very big atom to which hydrogen is attached. Its bond enthalpy is least, ಅಂದ್ರೆ energy required to break the bond is very very less. Therefore, it can easily release hydrogen atom. Therefore, H2PO is powerful reducing agent. H2O is a weakest reducing agent. So this is what we call it as one more property as far as acetics, hydrides of acetics, group 16 elements are concerned. And of course, finally, I go for this that I already discussed there. Bond length bandaga. You know that in the case of water, hydrogen is attached to a very small atom. Therefore, bond length in the case of H2O is least. That increases from oxygen to polonium due to increase in size of the central atom. And of course, this is what we call it as bond length order. This is what we call it as bond length order. Yes, your O to H bond is very, very small in length. And of course, S to PO bond is longer or the longest because of the very large size of polonium atom. So these are the properties to be compared as far as hydrides of group 16 elements are concerned. ಆಗ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ನೀವು ಕೆಲವು ಸಾರಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ನ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಷ್ಟೇ. ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ನೀವೇನೇ ಬರೀಬಹುದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೀ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಇಷ್ಟೇನೆ. ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲಿಂದ ಕೆಳ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಟಾಮಿಕ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಾಂಡ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಎಂಥಾಲ್ಪಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಾಂಡ್ ಎಂಥಾಲ್ಪಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೆಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ತರ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೀವು ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಎಸ್, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ as reactivity with hydrogen, right? Reactivity with oxygen, right? Now, how these group 16 elements react with oxygen there? Yes, and if group 16 element, right, E, when it reacts with oxygen, you are going to get EO2 and EO3 type oxides, where E corresponds to, yes, it is sulfur, selenium, tellurium and polonium. This is what we call it as reactivity there. Group 16 elements react with oxygen to form, yes, it is EO2 type, where oxidation number of central atom is +4. EO3, where oxidation number of central atom is +6. You know that I already said EO3 is more acidic than EO2, right? And I gave the reason in the last class. As the positive charge over the central atom increases, ability of accepting electron pairs increases. Therefore, that element with highest positive charge is more acidic than element with lowest positive charge. Therefore, EO3 is more acidic than EO2. For example, SO3 is more acidic than SO2. SeO3 is more acidic than SeO2. ಈ ತರ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಗೋಬಹುದು, ರೈಟ್? And of course, both EO2 and EO3 are acidic. ಎರಡು acidic, but that EO3 is more acidic than, yes, it is EO3 is more acidic than EO2. And of course, and as far as EO2 type oxides are concerned, okay, na? I can compare reducing properties of EO2 type oxides. ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, that is SO2 is stronger reducing agent than as it is TeO2. Or you can say reducing property of SO2 is greater than SeO2, that is greater than TeO2. Therefore, SO2 is a reducing agent, strong reducing agent, whereas TeO2 is a very good oxidizing agent. SO2 is a more reducing than SeO2. SeO2 is more reducing than TeO2. TeO2 is least reducing, means it is good oxidizing agent anta artha. Why it is so? The question mark. Let me remember that, if I move from sulfur, selenium, tellurium and polonium illi, or moving down the group, that +6 and +4 states both are possible for all the elements. +6 and +4 ಎಲ್ಲ elements ಗೆ +6 ಮತ್ತೆ +4 states ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇದೆ, ಹೌದಾ? And I said already, if I move from sulfur to polonium, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Stability of +4 increases. In the beginning, plus 6 is more stable. At the top of the periodic table, at the top of the group, at the top of the group, plus 6 is more stable. At the bottom of the group, plus 4 is more stable. Andra, in the case of sulfur, S plus 6 is more stable than S plus 4. Whereas in the case of tellurium, which is at the bottom, Te plus 4 is more stable than Te plus 6. So, sulfur alli plus 6 stable adre, tellurium alli plus 4 is more stable, because on moving down the group, inert pair effect increases. Sulfur in the polonium bandaga inert pair effect ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ stability of plus 4 increases. In the case of sulfur, plus 6 is more stable than plus 4. In the case of tellurium, plus 4 is more stable than plus 6. Because of that, as in the case of sulfur, plus 6 is more stable, plus 4 ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, look at this SO2, where sulfur is in plus 4 state. SO2 ಅಲ್ಲಿ sulfur plus 4 state ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. It is readily converted to plus 6 by losing 2 electrons. SO2 ಅಲ್ಲಿ sulfur plus 4 state ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. It readily converted to plus 6 because plus 6 is more stable than plus 4 in the case of sulfur. Therefore, when plus 4 is converted to plus 6, 2 electrons will be removed. That means S plus 4 undergoes oxidation. I said anything that undergoes oxidation is a very good reducing agent. As that plus 4 readily converted to plus 6 by oxidation, S plus 4 is very good reducing agent. Whereas in the case of TeO2, where Te is in plus 4 state, in the case of tellurium, plus 4 is more stable than plus 6 alva. Plus 4 is more stable than plus 6. Hagagi plus 4 never be converted to plus 6. ಹೌದಾ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ tellurium ಅಲ್ಲಿ plus 4 stable ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ it never undergoes oxidation. Therefore, it can never be a reducing agent. ಈ plus 4 stable ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ tellurium ಅಲ್ಲಿ oxidation ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂದಾಗ ಅದು reducing agent ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ sulfur dioxide is better reducing agent than, of course, tellurium oxide, TeO2. So that is what we call it as comparison of reducing properties of EO2 type oxides. Yes. And of course, and as far as SO2, yes, SeO2, TeO2, and of course PeO2, all are acidic, but their acidic strengths will be different. And of course, sulfur dioxide is acidic, SeO2 and TeO2 are amphoteric, POO2 are basic. And ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, if I move down the group, metallic character increases, non-metal is converted to metal. Oxides of non-metals will be acidic, oxides of metals will be basic alva. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ acidic property will be converted to basic property through amphoteric property there. This is what we call it as one more observation that you need to know. Yes. Now let us see one more. Yes, it is chemical property to be discussed as per your NCERT book, that is reactivity with halogens. Reactivity with halogens, right? When group 16 elements like E, when it reacts with halogen, you are going to get different types of halides: EX6, EX4, EX2, and of course EX twice. You are going to get hexahalides, tetrahalides, dihalides, and monohalides. These are the different types of halides that you can expect, where E is equal to S, Se, tellurium and polonium, yes. And of course, in the case of EX6, oxidation number of central atom is plus 6. That is not possible for oxygen, therefore I have not included oxygen here. Here it is plus 4, here it is plus 2, here it is plus 1. These are the oxidation state that you can expect in the case of group 16 elements. Corresponding to these oxidation states, these are the possible halides. We'll see first of all hexahalides. Okay, now before going to the hexahalides, let me clarify one more thing, that is Among these halides, that is E of X fluorides are more stable than EClX chlorides. Chlorides are more stable than bromides. Bromides are more stable than iodides. Among the halides, fluorides are more stable than chlorides. Chlorides are more stable than bromides. Bromides are more stable than iodides because of that high electronegativity of fluorine. It can form a strong bond with group 16 element because of its high electronegativity, and least electronegativity and big size of iodine will form a weak bond. Therefore, EI type iodides are least stable, fluorides are highly stable, right? Among these fluorides, we'll see that hexahalides of the type EX6. And of course, we find only hexafluorides. We find only hexafluorides, but not, yes, it is hexachlorides, bromides, and iodide. Only hexafluorides are available, whereas hexachlorides, bromides, and iodides are unstable. Among these, sulfur hexafluoride is more stable than selenium hexafluoride, more stable than tellurium hexafluoride. E hexafluorides ali SF6 is highly stable. Reason is quite clear. You know that in the case of SF6 you have S to F bond. In the case of selenium we have Se to F bond. In the case of tellurium we have Te to F bond. Yes. Look at this. In all the cases electronegativity of fluorine is highest, that is 4.0. Now if I move down the group, electronegativity decreases. Say for example, if it is 3.0, it will be 2.5, it will be 2.0. ಹೌದಾ? Sulfur in the tellurium ಬಂದ್ರೆ electronegativity ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ಈಗ ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ electronegativity ಬರೆದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, look at this. Here in the case of SF, electronegativity difference is 1. Here it is 1.5. Here it is 2.0. That is electronegativity difference. As the electronegativity difference increases, polarity of the molecule increases. That is Te to F bond is highly polar. S to F bond is least polar. As polarity increases, reactivity increases, stability decreases. Or you can say, as far as the covalent bonding is concerned, a strong covalent bond is formed between two highly electronegative atoms with a small difference in electronegativity. Nama Fazan's rule prakara, a strong covalent bond is produced when there is a bonding between two highly electronegative atoms with a small difference in electronegativity. Electronegativity difference kadme adangella covalent bond strength ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ S to F bond is very very strong. Therefore, SF6 is highly stable. Te to F bond is of course weakest. Therefore, TF6 is least stable. And of course, as far as structure is concerned, look at this. E group 16 only, you have 6 valence electrons. Halogen, each halogen provides 1 electron. 6 halogen atoms provide 6 electrons. Totally 12 electrons. 12 electrons andre 6 pairs. E 6 pairs ali, E X6 irodrinda, look at this. Sulfur example ತಗೋತೀನಿ. E 6 electron, E 6 pairs ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ SF6 ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ sulfur should be attached to 6 fluorine atoms through covalent bonds. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ all 6 pairs are, yes, it is bond pairs. All 6 pairs are bond pairs. Therefore, it will have octahedral geometry. This is octahedral geometry. That is, hexahalides are having octahedral geometry. That is what we call it as hexahalides. If it comes to the hexafluorides, hexafluorides, sorry, if it comes to the tetrafluorides, if it comes to the tetrafluorides, right? Tetrafluorides alli nodi. Once again, that is tetrafluorides alli SF4 is a gas, SeF4 is a liquid, TeF4 is a solid. Once again, fluorides are relatively more stable. Okay, na? Even we can expect chlorides, bromides also. in the case of tetrafluorides. Okay, now look at this. As far as tetrafluorides are concerned, in the central atom will contribute 6 electrons. Is S agli, SC agli, T agli, they contribute 6 electrons. Each fluorine atom gives 1 electron, or each halogen gives 1 electron. 4 halogen atoms will give 4 electrons. Therefore, it is 5 pairs and 10 electrons. Valence electrons 10 ಆಯ್ತು. 10 electrons and 5 pairs. Whenever there is a 5 pairs of electrons around the central atom, we expect sp3d hybridization with a trigonal bipyramidal shape. That is the trigonal bipyramidal shape, just like in the case of PCl5. ಹೌದಾ? ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ 5 pairs ಇದ್ದಾಗ 5 pairs ಅಲ್ಲಿ 4 fluorine atoms ಇದೆ. SF4 ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ sulfur is attached to, yes, it is 4 fluorine atoms through bond pairs. ನೋಡಿ, ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ 5 pairs ಅಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಬಾಂಡ್ ಪೇರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲೇಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಪೇರ್ ಇದೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಈಕ್ವಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್. ದಟ್ ಲೋನ್ ಪೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಈಕ್ವಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್. ನೋಡಿ, ಆ ಲೋನ್ ಪೇರು ಈಕ್ವಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಗ ಯು ಗಾಟ್ ದ ಜಾಮೆಟ್ರಿ ದೇರ್, ಟ್ರೈಗೋನಲ್ ಬೈಪಿರಮಿಡಲ್. ಎಸ್, and of course lone pair and 2 fluorine atoms are in one plane. One is above the plane, another is below the plane. And if this lone pair of electrons in the equatorial position, ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ if lone pair is in the equatorial position, there are only 2 lone pair bond pair repulsion. ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ರಿಪಲ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ರಿಪಲ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, and at an angle of 90 degree. And lone pair, that is, if I consider the lone pair bond pair repulsion at an angle of 90 degree, there are only 2 lone pair bond pair repulsion at an angle of 90 degree. ಅದೇ ನೋಡಿ, if I change the position of S, it is lone pair of electrons. ಇಲ್ಲಿ equatorial ಇಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಈಗ ಅದೇ ಲೋನ್ ಪೇರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಆಕ್ಸಿಯಲ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಈಗ ಆಕ್ಸಿಯಲ್ ಹಾಕಿದೆ. ಎಸ್, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಫ್, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಫ್, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಫ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಫ್. ಹೌದಾ? ದೀಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋರಿನ್ ಆಟಮ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿ, ಎಸ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಪ್ಲೇನ್. ಹೌದಾ? ಈಗ ಈ ಲೋನ್ ಪೇರು axial position ಇದ್ರೆ at an angle of 90 degree it will suffer a repulsion with ಇದೊಂದು lone pair bond pair repulsion, ಇದೊಂದು lone pair bond pair repulsion, ಇದೊಂದು lone pair bond pair. ನೋಡಿ ಎಷ್ಟು repulsions ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? 3 repulsions ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. When the number of repulsions increases, stability decreases. Therefore, this is the structure with the lone pair of electrons at the equatorial positions suffers 2 lone pair bond pair repulsions. Therefore, it is less stable. And of course, this is preferred structure of SF4 ಅಥವಾ EF4. And of course, this is what we call it as seesaw structure ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. Seesaw structure. Yes, that is seesaw structure. Seesaw ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಗರಗಸ ಅಂತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಮರದ ಬಟ್ಟೆಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊರಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಈ ತರ ಅದ್ರ ಎಡ್ಜ್ ಈ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ. This is like a saw edge. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, this is like a saw edge. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮವಾಗಿ ಹೀಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಹೀಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಹೀಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಹೀಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಾ ಎಡ್ಜ್ ತರ ಇದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಇದನ್ನ ಸೀಸಾ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ as tetrahalides. Apart from that, we have dihalides also, right? We have dihalides, and except yes, it is selenium, remaining will form dichlorides, dibromides. Except selenium, remaining will form dichlorides, and yes, it is dibromides. This is dihalides, EX2 type. ಈ ಡೈಹಲೈಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಆಟಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ 6 electrons. ಸಲ್ಫರ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಸಲ್ಫರ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಟೆಲೂರಿಯಂ ಆಗಲಿ, ಸೆಲೆನಿಯಂ ಆಗಲಿ, ಓಕೆನಾ, 6 electrons ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಕ್ಲೋರಿನ್ 2 electrons ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. 2 ಕ್ಲೋರಿನ್ ಆಟಮ್ಸ್ 2 electrons ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಟೋಟಲ್ 8 ಆಯ್ತು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 4 pairs. 4 pairs ಅಂದ್ರೆ Cl2 ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, yes, it is out of 4 pairs, 2 pairs will be used for bonding. 2 pairs will be used for bonding. That is, 4 pairs ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2 pairs bond pair ಆಯ್ತು. Remaining 2 pairs will be, yes, it is lone pair. And of course, due to the lone pair repulsion, lone pair bond pair repulsion, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Bond angle decreases. Even though the molecule undergoes sp3 hybridization, that bond angle is less than 109 degree. Yes, it is 28 minutes due to the lone pair repulsions. Therefore, its geometry is bent shape, ಅಥವಾ its shape is bent shape. Just like in the case of H2E ದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ಅದೇ ತರ ಈ ಡೈಹಲೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಬೆಂಡ್ ಶೇಪ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ as ಡೈಹಲೈಟ್ಸ್, ವೇರ್ ದ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಆಟಮ್ is sp3 hybridized with the bend shape. Yes. Apart from that, we have monohalides. Monohalides will be in the form of dimers. Monohalides of group 16 elements will be in the form of dimers. That is, for example, SCl twice sulfur monochloride. It is disulfur dichloride. That is diselenium. Yes, it is dichloride. Ditellurium. Yes, it is dichloride. These are the monohalides of, yes, it is group 16 elements. And of course, your as far as monohalides are concerned, they are characterized by the shape like this. That is S to S, and this is Cl, and it will be Cl. This is also bent shape. That is S to Cl to there. And of course, when they are in the form of, yes, it is when they are in the form of that is dimers, they undergo disproportionation to form Se and SeCl4. Disproportionation, the reaction where one species undergoes oxidation as well as reduction. ಹೌದಾ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ SeCl4 ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ 2 ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ, ಈಗ 4 ಆಯ್ತು. This is 3Se. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, Se is in plus state, here it is in 0, here it is in plus 4. Look here, plus 1 becomes 0, means Se2Cl2 undergoes reduction, plus 1 becomes plus 4, that means Se2Cl2 undergoes oxidation. Same substance undergoes reduction as well as oxidation, and the reaction is called as disproportionation reactions. The reaction is called as disproportionation reaction. That is, monohalides undergo disproportionation reactions when they are in the form of dimers. So this is what we call it as monohalides. So that's all about, yes, it is the reactivity of, yes, it is group 16 elements with halogens there. Aggodala? Yes. Okay now. So in the next video we'll see remaining aspects of the group 16 elements, like the individual discussions will start oxygen, ozone, sulfur, and the compounds of sulfur. Okay now, that we'll see in the next video. Okay now, thank you, right?